Well, Context is back with its special look at life as it now begins in Newtown, Connecticut after its horrific school shooting. Here's our own Sheldon Neal with a mother and a school teacher who lost more than they will ever recover.
That morning was it was a better than normal morning. That whole week, Catherine had been really bubbly, and the walk to the bus stop was more insightful, and just it was calm. And when I got to the school, I got the phone call saying that something had happened at the school, and I rushed to the school. When I got there, I could find my son, but I couldn't find Catherine, and I just knew that she was okay. I kept saying to a girlfriend of mine, they're okay, they're going to find them, they're okay. And then probably an hour into, they're not coming down from the school. They were bringing the kids down from the school, and so they'd bring a class down. And it was about an hour into it, I knew that she was gone, that she was not going to be there.
Where is this strength coming from? If someone's watching this and they're saying, it's the complete opposite picture you would see what they might think a parent would be looking like.
Some people say, well, she's not grieving the right way. And it's the mom that said, I just want her to be proud of me. I want her to be proud. And I feel like every time I'm consumed in tears, like all day long, consumed in tears. I hear a song. I open up a drawer and there's a bow that was Catherine's that she hated to wear. She hated it. I would just, the tears just, and then something just happens. A calm comes over me. And it's just like, whether it's Catherine or it's God or it's Mary just saying, it's okay. It's okay. The tears are going to come back. I know that they're going to come back, but there's just this inner strength.
Is that where the strength comes from the relationship with God?
I think so, yeah. I think so. I think that God gives you exactly what you need at every single moment.
Meet Kim Wise. She remembers the day of the shooting. She was teaching a class at Sandy Hook Elementary.
I heard a noise, and I wasn't exactly sure what it was. I looked up, and our teacher's aide in the classroom went over to the door, and I saw her. She took a step out the door, and she stopped for a second, and then all of a sudden she said, "Oh my God, everybody get in the corner." And then we were all sitting there, and I started hearing the noise, and it just kept going and going, and that's when I kind of knew.
Is there anything you think people ought to know that, the media is covering it from thousands of angles, but what do you think is important that people really need to know?
Well, I think that a lot of things that people hear aren't true. And I know the first couple of days I was just getting angry because I was hearing things that I knew didn't happen. So I don't want them to believe everything that they hear, but I just think they should know that, people have theories that it really didn't happen. It was all, it did happen, and I think that they just need to know that we're a strong group of people. The teachers in this school and all the kids in this school care for each other, and they love each other, and we're gonna get through it.
Do you find that teachers are finding that recreating the space is helping?
At first I was not really looking forward to going back, and it was just kind of like, it was just sad because we lost so many people, and there's just so many holes in our school, and I don't know, being together I think really helps, and we're all going through it together, and that was, I think, the most important thing is that we got to stay together.
How does God play a role?
A huge role. And I mean, I felt like he was watching over me that day. I really did. I mean, we were one of the few classrooms that he didn't go in that hallway, and I know that he was watching over me.
Take me through how faith with God helps you on the daily basis. Is it now the prayers in the morning, or whenever you decide? Is it more heartfelt, or how has God now revealed himself perhaps to you in a new way on the wake of something like this?
I think it's much more personal. Mm-hmm. I think it's much more of an ongoing conversation with God. I think that my relationship with God is much more talking to him at every single second. There's still the time for devotionals, and there's still a time for prayer in the morning, and just having that focus of where does my day need to be guided. But I find myself more so during the course of the day saying, God, give me the words that I need to say. God, give me the strength to walk into this room because everybody's going to be looking at me and everybody's going to be hugging me and judging how I'm grieving. Help me find the words.
Someone's watching, looking through these cameras, and I'm wondering, they're saying, hey, I don't have a relationship with God. As we were talking before this interview, I'm an atheist, so I don't believe he exists. It's hard for me to believe in something that's invisible when I live in a visible world. Yeah. What do we say? What do we say to those parents? Where do they find their strength?
I think they find it through us. I think they find it through the parents that have lost the most important treasure in their life. And if they can still turn to a God and say, help me, instead of how could you, then they start to rethink. Maybe there is something there, or maybe there is something that I'm missing. If you have no faith, what do you say to your kid when something like this happens? I can't even fathom having to say to my son, your sister's gone, and leave it at that. How superficial is that? When I can say to him, your sister is in a much better place. He is lonely, and he's sad, and he's lost. But he knows, and he just said to me the other day, when I get to heaven and I see Catherine, well, you know what? I've done my job. Because he knows that there's someplace else. And hopefully everyone else that doesn't know that there's someplace else may start thinking, I need to find out about this other place. What does she have that I'm missing? Because I need some of that.
Coming up, closing thoughts from a Newtown mom who lost her daughter in the tragedy, but continues to believe faith has some answers. We close our look in Connecticut today with last thoughts from Jen Hubbard, whose daughter was killed in the Sandy Hook shooting.
I ask sometimes, members of the media, they're always asking the question. I want to just give you a floor. What's on your heart to share?
I think that we need to return to God. We have to. And whether that God is in a synagogue or a church or in your family room, we all have to turn our faces back to God and center on Him and say, what is it that you want me to do? And listen quietly. Find that quietness to do what He intends. And if we can do that, I think we'll all be okay. I think we're still going to miss those babies. I'm going to miss her every day. I'm going to miss her every time I see her or see something of her. And I'm going to miss her, and I think the world is going to miss these babies. But I think that if we can just go with our hearts and do what God intended, we're going to make a better world. And that's what the kids want. That's what they wanted. They were so happy and so carefree. We have to turn back to God.
If you want to understand more about the issues discussed today, go to our Context website at contextwithlorna.com. And for all of us, I'm Lorna Duick. Thanks for watching. Join us next week as we explore life beyond the headlines.